بعالم الرؤيا وأشاهد هالليالي، بالضعن ردت رقية وبخيالي، صحت صوتي بحسرتي يا رقية ودمعتي، صحت صوتي بحسرتي يا رقية ودمعتي، تجري سكتة وتجري سكتة. Alone I wait with only tears while you weep for what's to come, surrounded by only my fears. It's Alila, please come home. Alone I wait with only tears while you weep for what's to come, surrounded by only my fears. It's Alila, please come home. It's Alila, please come home. I close my eyes and I see you, Ruqayya, your earrings gone. I close my eyes and I see you, Ruqayya, your earrings gone. They tell me father will return, but I know he's all alone. They tell me father will return, but I know he's all alone. In Medina I wait to hear if he's no more. Ya Ruqayya, has his pure blood mixed with the floor? Sister, please come back to me. Ya Ruqayya ودمعتي. Sister, please come back to me. يا رقية ودمعتي، تجري سكتة تجري سكتة. My dear sister, Ya Alila, the sun it's burning my feet. My dear sister, Ya Alila, the sun it's burning my feet. They've burnt our tents, my ear it bleeds, their bodies lay in the heat. They've burnt our tents, my ear it bleeds, their bodies lay in the heat. The pain I felt doesn't feel real, their ropes has cut both my wrists. The pain I felt doesn't feel real, their rope has cut both my wrists. And now they take us towards Sham while our aunt is being hit. And now they take us towards Sham while our aunt is being hit. Oh Alila, when he was here we lived like queens. But please don't cry, father will come soon in our dreams. Oh Alila, when he was here we lived like queens. But please don't cry, father will come soon in our dreams. I'll be fine soon, you will see. Ya Ruqayya dam'ati. I'll be fine soon, you will see. Ya Ruqayya dam'ati. تجري سكتة تجري سكتة. One is waiting for news in dread, standing by Bani. One is waiting for news in dread, standing by Bani. One jailed and the dust for her bed sees her father in a dream. One jailed and dust for her bed sees her father in a dream. Ruqayya's life taken so soon, her arms on her father's head. In Medina she hears the truth, her beloved Hussein is dead. In Medina she hears the truth, her beloved Hussein is dead. Two of his girls left as orphans, for him they wait. One on her own, the other gone with no embrace. Two of his girls left as orphans, for him they wait. One on her own, the other gone with no embrace. They'll both complain to Ali, Ya Ruqayya dam'ati تجري سكتة تجري سكتة. ساعة لانفزت بلغ الواقعها بحلم. ساعة لانفزت بلغ الواقعها بحلم. لا رقية ردت له بس رماد البيت شم. صورة الأيتام كانت بالمدينة نرتسم. أي صورة الأيتام كانت بالمدينة تنرسم. طفلة وتفارق وليها بلا وليها تنضم. طفلة وتفارق وليها بلا وليها تنضم. سمعت الناعي ينادي بالمدينة. راح عباس وأخيه من إيديها. ياهو يوصف حالتي يا رقية ودمعتي تجري سكتة. Many thanks to the poet Haidar Al-Qazzaz for the English poetry.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم من مصابنا أبي عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام. Dearest viewers, we send our condolences to you and indeed to our awaited Saviour. May Allah hasten his reappearance on the nights whereby we remember the young girl Fatima al-Alila left behind in Medina. We remember the children of Karbala. We remember the mothers of Karbala. We remember a special relationship in a family that is tough to describe until you've gone through it. Until you yourself have embraced parenthood and until you've realized what it means to have a child and until you even start to think about what it would be to leave a child. This is my first Muharram as a father, and I have to say, hearing the concept even of an orphan has a very different vision to it than what it has done for the last 27 years of my life. And when we think about Imam Hussein alayhi salam leaving, or some of the individuals who traveled to Karbala leaving children behind, and of course then children dying on the way, and children like Hamida becoming orphans along the way, Sayyidah Sukaina becoming a Shahida herself, Abdullah al-Ravi along the way as well. This mission of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, as is mentioned by many a historian, was not for fame, was not for recognition. Otherwise, why would he take along his family and friends to an inevitable end? This was solely to restore the teachings of his grandfather, Rasul al-A'zam Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alih. So on that note, Mullah Ali, thank you so much for that recitation, and also we're joined by a younger Ali Raza. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us and thank you for coming. Just on this note, Mullah Ali, you were going between the Arabic and the English there. Was it a similar translation?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Similar type thing?
I think the poem, actually predominantly it's about 6 verses in Arabic and 3 verses in English. The English was supposed to complement or more or less translate the same meaning. It's a dialogue between Sayyid Ruqayya alayhi salam and Fatima al-Alila, who not a lot of people actually join the dots. They are both daughters of Imam Hussein, who have their own specific calamities that they went through, one being left in Medina, the other one that was actually taken to Karbala, and
Yeah.
then were held captive, and they ended up in two different plights and two different calamities. And so the discussion is, Ali is talking to Sayyida Ruqayya saying, you've left me, but Sayyida Ruqayya is saying, yeah, I've left you, but I've also, I'd rather you didn't come.
Yeah.
Because of what's happened to us.
It's interesting because you see that couplet kind of being made, and also Hamida sometimes being made as well, given that Imam Hussein talks about, like, I'm becoming your father now after Habib has passed away, etc. And just one more point to ask you, when you became a father as well, 4 years ago now, right? Roughly
4 years ago.
4 years. Did you find there was a difference when you started to think about this concept
100%.
of becoming an orphan?
Yeah, you know what you just said resonated with me 100%. When you start to have children, the story of Karbala then changes to you, and how you connect to the story of Karbala then changes, because the narrations are stating, for example, Sayyida Alila or Sayyida Ruqayya or Sukaina, they were 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and that's my children's current age. And now I can see, when I see my daughter who's 3 years old, and then I hear the stories, I'm like, how can I ever leave her alone for more than half an hour, shall we say, let alone what happened to them. And so there's a much deeper now connection to the story.
And I guess that's a nice transition to you, Ali Raza. You're on the other end of seeing fathers and the bidding farewell of fathers as well. And I think you've got something about mothers, though, in particular, a very special one. Tell us maybe about one of the stanzas that you'll recite for us. What is this talking about?
This is kind of like a poem about the mothers of Karbala and what they went through, and like they had to see all these terrible stuff. And probably my favorite stanza is about Ali Asghar, because when you think of Karbala, you think about Ali Asghar, the youngest martyr in Ashura, and I think that just hits your heart. So that's probably my favorite stanza. But and
of course you have 2 younger siblings, so you've seen them be babies as well. You've seen them be this age of 3, 4, 5 years old. Your younger sister's around 4 or 5 years old as well. So do you feel that imagery resonates with you as well? And you're like, you can see that young daughter, that young sister, and the innocence that they must have.
Yeah, definitely. It reminds you of baby Sukaina and what they must have been through, and like when so yeah, definitely it reminds you about baby Sukaina and all the young daughters.
For sure. As you get prepared, inshallah, if you want to jump up, and Ali will adjust the mic for you. The viewers, I'll share something very brief with you, and that is this. When we talk about our love for Ali Muhammad, we're sometimes challenged, right? We're sometimes told by a school of thought, you Shi'as, you take this love too intensely. This love doesn't mean anything. Why do you take it so seriously? And inshallah, throughout tonight, and maybe we'll go into tomorrow, I'll just lay out a few points for you just to reflect on how we should reply to this. The first thing I'll say is this, and that is that this literalist view that this other school of thought presents to say that, hey, you've got this prophet, we only love him for his prophetic mission. We don't love him for anything else, right? Yes, he lived a life, but in their eyes, they only love him because of the prophetic mission. We, however, as the objective view of the Shia, of Ali Muhammad, we say no. This holy prophet and the righteous servants and the other prophets and the Ai-Imma alayhim as-salam, they didn't just clock off their duties as being messengers at 6 p.m. at the end of the day. They were messengers from the moment that they were born till the moment that they died and beyond. So in every single second of their life, whether in front of the people, whether in their own homes, whether alone, they were teaching, they were illustrating how to live a perfect life and how to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the verses that we use from Quran as evidence is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى, that he doesn't speak out of emotional turn, Rasulullah. Every single act that he does is out of wisdom, is out of teaching for us. And therefore we don't just love him for his prophetic side, we love him for his entirety, because even in his home, he was prophetic as well. So this is one part of the reply when we're challenged on saying, why do you guys love the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt so much? We say we see them from start to finish as people we can learn from. Inshallah, at this point, we leave ourselves to Ali Raza to tell us about the mothers of Karbala.
In honor of the mothers of Karbala. Mothers, their display of true love. Mothers, their display of true love. Corpse in the desert everywhere, leaving nothing but despair. Mothers, their display of true love. The mothers of mothers from Baki cries these tears for Hussein and his brothers. Tears of blood for their fears. From Medina the skies turn dark. Mothers, their display of true love. Another cries from afar, my son was raised for this day. The prayer of Zahra. Al-Banin was my name. Now my sons have gone and left pain. Mothers, their display of true love. From a tent I hear cries, my son tomorrow find. For Qasim Farwa cries, O son in battle, hey, show them how you shine with your father's light. Mothers, their display of true love. One cradle seems to speak. Why should I be left out? I am bravery's peak. Rhubarb bids farewell, hey, heart content. Asghar, my son, go be quenched. Mothers, their display of true love. Layla mamas from a tent, Akbar, you're my strength. How will I see you sent to the battle for Hussein? But I'll go fight till the death. Mothers, their display of true love.
display of true love. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ahsant. Kind of begs the question when when you think about it. What's tougher for a mother, right? Bidding goodbye, seeing it happen, or bidding goodbye to the corpse at the end? And I think, Ali, again, I'm sure you can resonate, right? There's a love that we have for our children. There's another love that our wives have for their children, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think there's so many examples and stories and stances that we can learn from, but also away from just learning, just connect with it. I think the amazing story about Karbala, and we say this year on year out, but it still resonates every single year, is that there's always something new that you learn about Karbala, and there's always a new emotion that you can connect with Karbala. So you might, for example, now I'm more emotionally connected with the mothers of Karbala because of that poem, just that poem itself, going through all the different mothers of Karbala. It's very, very amazing. By the way, just on a side note, the delivery and the control of the voice was 10/10. Like, mashallah, I can't fault it at all. But yeah, so in terms of the connection to the, especially the emotional side of Karbala, every year you can learn something, especially since things happen in your life. You can use Karbala as a way to soothe that pain.
100%. Ali Reza, when you recite something like that, I know the tune is from an Urdu tune, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to figure out this Urdu tune would work, or was it quite natural?
For me, I just listen to one and then I implement it. But since, like, the way I've always been learnt to recite is just keep on listening and listening.
Sure.
And just practicing every day. And so it depends on, like, the tune. So if it's like a very complicated tune,
sure,
then it's hard to pick up. But most tunes, you know, like Urdu, there's quite nice tunes which are easy to pick up. Them I pick up quite quickly.
So Ali, if you were to recite one like this, would you be able to adjust your voice box to that kind of melody?
Not that melody. It's quite difficult. It's something that I've always been thinking about. Like, I've grown up on a very Eastern Arabic style melody, so my voice box is accustomed to that. I would have to train it, listen to that type of melody quite a few times for me to be able to grasp it.
It's a bit sharper, right? I feel it feels a bit sharper.
Yeah, it's much sharper. There's a lot more emphasis on voice and taking your time. The difference between my recitation and Ali Reza's is that mine, there was obviously a rhythm involved.
Yeah.
And I know that, of course, that with that type of recitation, there are different types. So, for example, there's, I think they call it a marthia. Marthia, and then there's a full-on martyrdom, for example, which obviously follows a rhythm. But with this one particularly, a normal martyrdom I could possibly do because it's a rhythm, it's quite faster. I'm accustomed to that. But with a marthia, I would have to really kind of hold back my inhibitions.
Sure.
Or hold back my kind of urge to go faster.
Sure.
And needing to have more control over the voice and the melody. So the difference between my one was that my one followed the rhythm, it was faster, but Ali Reza's was much more kind of solemn. More emphasis on the words, I think.
Do you prefer reciting martials over nohas, or do you have a preference?
I think it, like, depends what person you are. If you're a person who likes to recite nohas and martyrdom, or if you're a person who likes to do melodious marthias. But I like marthias over nohas.
I think you have the voice for it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's someone like with a husky, terrible voice like me can get away with a martyrdom, but to do something like that, you need to have a controlled voice. You have something, a second one for us, and I want to make sure we have enough time to go through it. What is your second one about?
So my second one is about Bibi Rubab, calling out to Ali Asghar, and it's related to the theme of the mothers of Karbala, but it's just about Bibi Rubab calling out to Ali Asghar, and it's in English, and yeah, it's not a noha, it's just a nice lullaby.
Amazing.
martyrs.
I know if you sit close enough to Ali, he'll pick up the chorus and recite the chorus with you, right?
I'm trying to guess. It's not coming to me.
Go on, Ali Raza, go for it. If you can stay sat down. Ali can peep over and see if he can do the chorus with you as well as you recite, inshallah. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Maybe I can give you the mic. It's easier for.
Oh my Asghar, where are you?
Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah.
Come, your mother is calling for you. The skies are darkening, the desert is cold. Gone is my baby, just 6 months old. I cannot find him, my little prince. Come, your mother is calling for you. You are so thirsty, your tongue so dry. We couldn't fetch you water, though we did try. Is your thirst quenched now, oh beloved one? Come, your mother is calling for you. Oh my Asghar, where are you? Come, your mother is calling for you. When his arrow at you, did he know that he wounded me too? My heart is broken, oh where are you? Come, your mother is calling for you. How can I leave you in Karbala? The youngest martyr on Ashura. How can my baby sleep on the sand? Come, your mother is calling for you. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أحسنت. Dear viewers, I'm going to share a little bit of a further discussion with what we mentioned earlier, which was about this concept of love. And obviously we're speaking about quite broadly the mothers, the children left behind, the children that were killed along the way. And we're trying to make sure that we as the Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib are very firm in our foundations as to why we have so much love for Ali Muhammad. And if you're interested in this topic in a bit more detail, the grand scholar Sayyid Munir al-Khabaz, may Allah protect all of our scholars inshaAllah, has a book called Understanding the Awaited, and this is specifically about Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala faraj al-Sharif, within which there is a chapter where he talks about the value of love, and he establishes why we have this love, and how the Shi'i objective point of view is superior and better founded and true than that of the other school of thoughts, where they are a little bit more limited in their view on love. And just one angle of it that I wish to share, he says, look, we understand that there are 3 types of love. So when people try and come forward and say, yeah, you know what, this love is made up, you're being OTT about it, he says there's 3 types of love. The first is a desirous love. This is a love that is not so positive for us and our souls. That is lust and appetite for worldly things. You then have a second type of love, human love, companionship, the type of love that we're speaking about, mothers, children, partners, etc., etc. But this love that we have for Ali Muhammad comes from a third type of love, an innate love, a fitri love, a love that stems from within, a love of perfection, a natural instinct towards perfection and only perfection, towards excellency, towards beauty. We read, وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ خَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٍ, that indeed we are like avid lovers of good. When we see goodness, when we see perfection, when we see love, when we see mercy, we fall in love with it. It's very difficult if someone comes to you and says, here, let me give you £100, that you'd say, I don't like you. If someone says, hey, I'm going to give you my house for the evening so that you can stay here when you're in a foreign land, it's tough to be annoyed at that person. It's an innate love. You have a natural love towards that which is good, that which is positive, that which is perfect. And of course, the most perfect of perfect things we have is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course. Therefore, we have a natural drive towards anything that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or a manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the Ahlul Bayt, alayhim wa afdalus salati was salam. So when you have this concept of why do you as the Shia fall so much in love with Ahlul Bayt, it's unnatural, it's not normal, no. Or one who asks us, perhaps it's because your soul has become so hard that it is no longer registering this innate love. But there's always a chance. And these nights of Karbala, these nights of Ashura and of Muharram are the timing where our hearts can get softer. And with that, inshallah, to soften our hearts for the final part of the show, Mulla Ali, just a final 2-minute recitation, if you can, either on the minbar or sat down, whatever your preference is, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah.
There's something you have in mind that you will go for?
Yeah.
And we can put on the lotum if you need as well.
No, I can just read it freestyle. Again, the words of Fatima al-Alila saying, I wish the skies would fall, the moon, the stars, and all. Without my father, nothing will matter. The moon, the stars, and all. I am the child left behind. I sit and weep. I am left with my grief like an ocean so deep. They all left me, and what do I have left to reap? Only my grief and my tears beside me I keep. I tell you of my days, my grief sets me ablaze.
in me a fire, nothing will matter. The moon, the stars, and all. Throughout me flows the blood of the purest bloodline. But without my Father, the light in me can't shine. Without him I can't be holy, can't be divine. To me was everything, my hope and my sign. My questions unanswered, my cries they go unheard. May my heart shatter, nothing will matter. The moon, the stars, and all. Many thanks to the poet, Nouri Sadda.
Assalamu alayki ya Fatima al-Alila. Assalamu alaykum ya Aitam Karbala. Dear viewers, we hope that you have journeyed with us to Medina and also to the land of Karbala, where we've remembered these phenomenal, inspiring children, these courageous and loyal mothers, and of course all of the shuhada of Karbala. And with that, you now have your opportunity to join us live from Karbala with Brother Ahmed Ali, where you can send your salutations to the shuhada of Karbala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.